If you or someone you love is heading off to college, I've got 11 sewing ideas to help make this chapter a little easier. And these aren't your typical back-to-school projects. From grab-and-go essentials for getting around campus to practical projects for class, study sessions, and even the dorm room, these are projects chosen for the everyday realities of college life. Hi, I'm Victoria, and I help you sew practical, stylish accessories that are ready for real life and real adventures. For each project, I'll hit the essentials: materials and fabric, skill level, and a rough estimate of sew time where I can, and any quick notes or tips. You'll find the existing tutorials and 11 sewing patterns linked below. So let's get into the first group of projects. College life means constantly heading somewhere, but you don't always want to bring the whole bag with you. So let's start with a few grab-and-go projects that keep the essentials close while leaving your hands free. Let's start with the single-slot card holder. On a college campus, a student ID can be one of the most important things to keep with you. It might be your dorm key, meal card, library card, and photo ID all in one. This little holder gives it a dedicated spot while leaving room for another card or a little bit of cash. And it has a small tab so you can clip it to your keys, your bag, or just about anything else. And it pairs especially well with the next two projects we'll get to. For supplies, you'll need 2 pieces of fabric cut roughly to the size of a postcard, 1 matching piece of lightweight interfacing, a small fabric strip for the tab, and a set of plastic snaps. This one is beginner-friendly and takes roughly 30 minutes to sew. My biggest tip is to double-check what side you're attaching the tab to before you sew everything together and turn it right side out. And one of the easiest ways to carry that card holder is with a lanyard. It keeps your campus ID and other small essentials right around your neck, which is especially convenient when you're heading to the dining hall or a campus event and you don't want to carry a whole bag, or when you don't have pockets. For supplies, you'll need a fabric strip about 42 inches long by 4 inches wide, a matching piece of medium-weight fusible interfacing, and 1-inch key fob hardware. And I also like adding a swivel hook. It makes it much quicker clipping things on and off rather than using the key ring alone. This is another beginner-friendly project, and it takes 30 minutes or less to sew. And one tip when you're attaching the hardware: temporarily clip or pin the ends together first. That keeps the layers from shifting while you hold it together with one hand and grab the pliers with the other. Now, if you'd rather not wear something around your neck, a wristlet keychain can be another hands-free option. It's a simple fabric loop that keeps your keys, your card holder, and other small essentials handy without having to carry a bag. For supplies, you'll need 1 small strip or scrap of fabric, an optional layer of interfacing, and either a ribbon clamp or key fob hardware. The pattern includes 2 sizes, so you can choose the one that works best with whatever hardware you prefer. This is another beginner-friendly project, and you should be able to sew one in about 30 minutes or less. Another thing that makes staying hands-free while you're walking around campus a lot easier is a water bottle holder. This is actually my most used sewing project ever. You just wear it over your shoulder, drop in your reusable water bottle, and you're good to go. It keeps your water bottle within easy reach without having to carry it in your hands, which is especially useful when you're heading between classes, walking to the library or the dining hall, or just making your way across campus without a full bag. The pattern comes in 3 sizes: mini, regular, and large, so you can choose the one that fits your favorite bottle. For the regular size, you'll need about a half a yard of fabric total between the outer layer and the lining, plus a little extra for the bottom straps. I usually use 1 fat quarter for the outer layer and 1 for the lining, which is enough for at least 1 holder, potentially 2 depending on how you lay out your pieces. You'll also need about 55 inches of synthetic webbing and a plastic strap adjuster, like the kind you'll find on outdoor gear. I'd call this a confident beginner to intermediate level project, and it's absolutely doable in an afternoon. And for one last grab-and-go essential, the chapstick holder is one of my favorites because it's cute, easy, and surprisingly useful. It keeps your chapstick right where you need it without digging through a bag, or needing a bag at all. Clip it to your lanyard, wristlet keychain, or water bottle holder, or even the outside of your bag when you're carrying one. For supplies, all you'll need is a 4-inch by 12-inch strip of fabric and a 2-inch heavy-duty metal swivel hook. This one is very beginner-friendly, even if you've never sewn anything before, and you can sew it in less than 30 minutes. It's a great quick win project, and if you're sewing for someone heading off to college, these make cute little gifts. One tip for success: pay attention to the directions you fold in the ends in step 5. They need to go in opposite directions, and it's easy to accidentally expose an edge that should be tucked inside. Of course, sometimes the essentials aren't enough. If you're heading to class or the library with books, a laptop, or everything you need for a study session, you're going to need something to help you carry it all. So next, I've got 2 different bag options depending on how much you need to bring along. If you need to carry a little bit of everything, the Organizer Tote Bag is my ultimate carry-all. It's structured, sturdy, and roomy enough for your books, laptop or tablet, notebook, water bottle, and anything else you might need for class or a study session. And because it stays upright, everything stays organized instead of collapsing together at the bottom of your bag. It's also packed with pockets. There's roomy front pockets, interior pockets with smaller sections for things like pens or chapstick, a secure zipper pocket in the back, and even a built-in clip for your keys or card holder. You've also got sturdy handles and an adjustable shoulder strap so you can carry it however you prefer. I laminated mine with clear iron-on vinyl, which is optional, but it makes it easy to wipe clean. So if you want to take your books outside and study on the lawn, you don't have to worry as much about where you set it down. Now, this is a larger project, so you'll need a few more supplies. Plan for roughly 2 yards of fabric between the outer layer, lining, and pockets. I used about 3 fat quarters each for the outer layer and the lining and mixed and matched fabrics for the pockets. You'll also need extra firm stabilizer to help the bag stand up on its own. I used 2 15-inch by 1 yard packages of Pellon 70 Peltex. You'll also need about 91 inches of synthetic webbing, 2 heavy-duty swivel hooks and 2 O-rings for the shoulder strap, a metal strap adjuster, and a lighter hook or key ring for the built-in key clip. Optional extras include a 17-inch by 2 yard package of iron-on vinyl and some medium-weight fusible interfacing to reinforce the zipper pocket. Skill-wise, I'd put this one firmly at the intermediate level. It's also a time investment, so plan on a few dedicated sewing sessions rather than a single afternoon. There are 18 pattern pieces in total, so having the printable pattern really takes the measuring and guesswork out of the process. All of the pieces are clearly laid out for you, with placement guides and other details to help everything line up where it should. And there's also a step-by-step video tutorial that walks you through every detail of the process. My biggest tip is to cut and press everything, including your stabilizer, interfacing, and vinyl if you're using it, before you start sewing. But keep the pattern pieces with each piece until you're ready to use it. With 18 different pieces, it makes it much easier to keep track of what's what. And if you're using the iron-on vinyl, grab some washi tape. It's an easy way to mark pocket placement when you can't pin or reliably mark on the laminated fabric. But if you don't need all that structure and organization, the easy-lined tote bag is a much lighter and more casual option. It's perfect for those days when you just need a notebook or textbook for class. Or maybe just a book and a sweater so you can head out on the lawn and enjoy the afternoon. It's compact but still roomy enough for the essentials, with a boxed bottom that gives you a little extra space. And because there's no heavy structure, you can easily fold it up and tuck it inside another bag when you're not using it. For supplies, you'll need 2 pieces of outer fabric and 2 pieces of lining fabric, each about 11 inches by 14 inches, plus synthetic webbing for the straps. You can use 2 32-inch pieces for shoulder straps or 2 15-inch pieces if you prefer shorter handles. This one is beginner-friendly and easy to complete in an afternoon. And my tip for keeping it quick, sturdy, and polished is to use synthetic webbing for the straps. If you'd rather make fabric straps, cut them 4 inches wide by your desired length and add interfacing for a little extra strength. Next, we'll move into a few projects that make classes and study sessions a little easier. But before we get into those, if you're finding some good ideas to sew for yourself or someone you love heading off to college, please hit the like button and subscribe for more practical sewing projects. Once you've gotten everything where you're going, it's time to settle in and get some work done. So whether you're in class, at the library, or studying somewhere around campus, these next few projects are all about keeping things organized and making those study sessions run a little smoother. First up is the journal pen holder, which wraps right around your notebook or book and gives you a little pocket for keeping pens, pencils, or highlighters right there with it. So when you sit down for class or a study session, you've already got the things you need to take notes without digging in your bag to find them. And depending on where you position it, it can even double as a bookmark. For supplies, you'll need about 1/3 yard of fabric total for the main piece and the pocket, and about 1/3 yard of medium weight fusible interfacing, and at least 10 inches of either 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch elastic. I'd call this a confident beginner project, and you can complete it in a few hours. One tip when you're putting the layers together: fold up the extra elastic and clip it out of the way on the inside. That keeps it from shifting towards the edges so you don't accidentally catch it in your stitching, and it makes it much easier to turn everything right side out afterward. Of course, if you're studying, you'll probably have a book or two to keep your place in, and I have 3 different bookmark styles that you can make. There's a classic fabric bookmark that slips between the pages, a button bookmark that loops around the book with an elastic hair tie, and an elastic wraparound version that holds your place securely, which can be especially handy when you're carrying your books around campus. For all three, you'll need just a few fabric scraps, a bit of elastic, an elastic hair tie, and 3 medium-sized buttons. The exact supplies and measurements for each version are included in the pattern. These are some of the most beginner-friendly projects in the entire list, even if you've never sewn before. And depending on your experience, you can make all three in about an hour or an afternoon. And if you're bringing your phone, tablet, or laptop along to class or a study session, chances are you're bringing a charging cord too. A cord wrap keeps that cable neatly contained in your bag instead of leaving it loose to tangle or wrap around everything else. So it's much easier to carry from place to place. My version uses 2 sets of snaps. The inner snap holds the cord securely in place, while the outer snap folds around it so nothing can slip out like some single snap versions can. The pattern includes 2 sizes, a regular size for small charging cords, and a larger version that can accommodate bulkier laptop chargers with charging bricks. For supplies, you'll need just 2 small pieces of fabric, about 6 inches by 3 inches, and 2 sets of plastic snaps. This is another beginner-friendly project you can finish in about an hour. And here's a tip. After you turn the wrap right side out, use the blunt end of a point turner tool to smooth out those curved edges before top stitching for a cleaner finish. And finally, after making our way around campus and settling in for class or study session, let's head back to the dorm. Dorm rooms don't always give you much control over your space, so I've got one more project that can make an inconvenient setup work a little better. A cell phone charger holder is basically a little shelf for your phone right at the outlet. In a dorm room where you might be working around roommates, limited furniture, and outlets that aren't necessarily where you need them, this gives your phone a dedicated place to rest while it charges, instead of leaving it on the floor or trying to find a nearby surface. And the front pocket also keeps the extra cord tucked away. For supplies, you'll need about 3/8 of a yard of fabric for the back, a 1/4 yard of fabric for the pocket, and about 36 inches of bias tape, either homemade or store-bought, and one 20-inch by 1 yard package of medium-weight fusible interfacing. You can also add an optional grommet. The pattern includes 2 opening styles, a smaller round opening for a single-port charger, and a larger square opening that works better for bulkier chargers, including ones with multiple USB ports, so you can choose whatever fits your setup. This is a confident beginner project you can easily finish in an afternoon. Just as a reminder, you'll find the existing tutorials and all 11 sewing patterns linked below. And if you're interested in even more sewing project ideas, you may want to check out this video next. Thanks for watching. Bye!